The Galactic Academy stood as a monument to interspecies cooperation, its crystalline spires reaching into the star-filled void. Within its halls, beings from 1,000 worlds gathered to share knowledge and forge bonds that would span the cosmos. Among them walked James Chen, the first human student ever admitted to the prestigious institution. For weeks, James had endured whispers and curious glances from his fellow students. Most regarded humans as a curiosity, a recently discovered species from a backwater system, primitive yet somehow possessing technology that allowed them to reach the stars. The prevailing opinion was that these Earthers were soft, fragile beings who had stumbled upon space travel through sheer luck. The misunderstanding reached its peak during Professor Velteris's xenobiology lecture. The Andromedan educator, resembling a towering mass of translucent gel with dozens of sensory organs, was discussing planetary classifications. Class M planets with standard gravity and comfortable temperatures are ideal for most life forms, the professor gurgled, its voice translated through the universal communicator. Then we have the death worlds, planets so hostile that only the most resilient species can survive there. High gravity, toxic atmospheres, extreme temperatures, or all of the above. A student from Proxima Centauri raised a crystalline appendage. Professor, I've heard Earth mentioned in passing. What classification does it fall under? James noticed the subtle shift in the room as all attention turned to him. He had grown tired of explaining, but this felt different. This was important. Earth, the professor consulted its datapad, is classified as a Class 12 death world, among the most extreme environments in the known galaxy. The room fell silent. Then came the laughter. Not cruel, but disbelieving. The gel-like Andromedan student beside James rippled with amusement. Surely there's been an error. Look at him. This human seems perfectly normal. Death world survivors are typically armored behemoths or beings of pure energy. James stood, feeling the weight of every gaze in the amphitheater. The classification isn't wrong, he said quietly. Perhaps I should explain. He moved to the center of the lecture hall, where a holographic projector awaited. With a few gestures, he called up an image of Earth, a beautiful blue marble swirled with white clouds. This is Earth, as you see it from space, James began. Beautiful, isn't it? But beauty often masks danger. The image zoomed in. Our planet experiences seasonal temperature variations of up to 100 degrees Celsius in many regions. That's not a gradual change, that's every single year. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Most species evolved on worlds with stable climates. Our gravity is 1.2 standard. Not extreme by death world standards, but enough to stress most beings. But that's not why Earth earned its classification. James manipulated the hologram to show Earth's history. Our planet attempted to kill us from the moment life began. The display showed prehistoric Earth, massive volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, ice ages that covered continents and kilometers of ice. Multiple extinction events wiped out 90% of all life. Yet life persisted. It adapted. It evolved. He zoomed in on various Earth creatures: great white sharks, saltwater crocodiles, box jellyfish, poison dart frogs. We share our world with creatures that inject neurotoxins, compress their prey to death, or possess venom that can kill hundreds of beings with a single bite. The lecture hall had fallen completely silent. But it's not just the animals, James continued. Our plants evolved chemical defenses, compounds that can blind, burn, or kill. We learned to identify them, to use them, sometimes even to cultivate them. We turned the weapons of our world into our tools. He showed images of humans throughout history, surviving in frozen tundras, crossing scorching deserts, diving into ocean depths, climbing mountains that scraped the sky. Every environment on Earth tried to kill us, so we learned to kill it first. We mastered fire, invented tools, developed medicines from the very toxins that threatened us. And then, James's voice grew stronger. We started leaving Earth, but we didn't leave our death world reflexes behind. When you've spent your entire evolutionary history on a planet actively trying to kill you, space feels manageable. He gestured to the assembled students. You ask why we're not feared? It's because you haven't understood what it means to be from Earth. We've spent millions of years in a constant state of adaptation and survival. Every human carries the genes of survivors, countless generations who faced Earth's challenges and lived to pass on their traits. The Andromedan student who had laughed earlier now rippled with a different emotion: respect. You're saying that your entire species are survivors of a death world crucible? More than that, James replied. We're the children of a world that never stopped trying to kill us. We learned to see danger everywhere, to plan for the worst, to adapt to any environment. When we reached space, we brought those traits with us. Professor Veltaris's gel body pulsed with approval. Class, this is a perfect example of how environmental pressures shape evolutionary traits. Earth humans developed not just physical resilience but mental adaptability and technological innovation as survival mechanisms. As students filed out after the lecture, they gave James more space than before, not out of fear but out of newfound respect. Word spread quickly through the academy. Humans weren't just another species. They were DEATHWORLD survivors, forged in the crucible of one of the galaxy's most challenging environments. From that day forward, when introducing himself, James never had to explain why Earth was called a death world. The other students already knew, and understanding replaced curiosity in their eyes. In the vast cosmos of civilized species, humanity had finally found its place, not as conquerors or weaklings, but as the resilient children of a world that never learned to show mercy. The Academy's corridors echoed with a new understanding. Sometimes the most dangerous beings are those who have learned to survive the impossible.